The Great Red Dragon by HILTON HOTEMA. Chapter 7. Virgin Birth. The foregoing language strongly indicates that there was a time when human propagation was the result of parthenogenesis, and that in preparing the Bible, the Church Fathers sought to omit all direct references to the fact, and to ambiguate what little information they excerpted from ancient writings bearing on the question. They had two chief reasons for that, one of which was to make it appear that no one but their Jesus was ever the product of parthenogenesis. The other was to make it appear that it was in harmony with cosmic law for people to marry and live in legalized adultery. They even said that marriage is honorable in all, and the bed is undefiled. Hebrew 13:4. It had never been necessary to make that statement, if marriage had always been a common custom. For against that assertion appears the testimony of Paul that the body is not for fornication, that it is well for the single to remain unmarried, and that it is good for a man not to touch a woman. Modern science is of little help in this field, as it believes not in parthenogenesis, and yet cases of parthenogenesis are reported here and there. One instance recently appeared in the press in July 1956, the report coming from London, where a woman of 30 claimed to have produced an unfathered child, a girl now 11 years old. Life without father is the Manchester Guardian's phrase of it. The woman, Imimari Jones, claims that her daughter, 11-year-old Monica, was conceived without the aid of man. To prove her claim, she submitted to 6 months of testing by a research team of eminent British doctors, whose verdict was, "We have been unable to prove that any man took part in the creation of this child. All our results are consistent with a case of virgin birth. We found nothing in the child that could have come from anyone but the mother." The account adds, "Actually, Mrs. Jones was one of 19 mothers who came forward with claims of virgin birth in response to an appeal from the Sunday Pictorial, in which it is also said that biologists have suggested that one woman in 1 in 600,000 might produce a fatherless child. One case is sufficient to show what is possible in a million others." Dr. Helen Spurway, wife of scientist J.B.S. Haldane, has a laboratories in London's University College, in which she conducts various kinds of experiments in field of parthenogenesis. Her findings indicate that male seed is not necessary to cause an egg to develop into an embryo, she says. Many different stimuli will cause an egg to begin development. The wonder is that virgin birth, in women, occurs so rarely. Women are afraid to report or claim such things, as no one will believe them, so they just hide it. And here we have modern testimony and reliable evidence to indicate that the men quoted in the Bible had good grounds for asserting that the body is not for fornication, and that it is good for man not to touch a woman. The reader should now understand why man was told that he may freely use and enjoy all parts and processes of his wonderful body, with one vital exception, and why he was definitely warned as to what the consequences would be if he used that one accepted function. The history of humanity shows that it is the sin unto death. That was the basic doctrine of the ancient mysteries and the ancient religion in every country. That is the whole sum and substance of the teachings of the Bible. More pages of the writings of the ancients that have been preserved to our times are devoted to that basic doctrine than to the development of empires, the reason being that it goes to the very soul and spirit of man.